Imagine this. You've done everything right. You skipped vacations, you said no to dinners out, you forced yourself to save. And now you've got $18,000 sitting in a high-yield savings account earning 4%. Sounds responsible, right? But here's the thing. Over the last 3 years, inflation quietly ate over 20% of that money's buying power, which means your safety net is actually shrinking, and no one warned you. Not your bank, not your finance guru, not the viral TikTok telling you to just save 6 months of expenses. So let me ask you something. What if the very rule designed to protect you is the reason you're falling behind? Let that sink in. Hey, I'm Hunter, and welcome back to the channel where we question the money rules everyone follows, but nobody actually examines. Today, we're talking about something sacred in personal finance, the 6-month emergency fund rule. You've heard it 1,000 times, but here's where it gets interesting. What if that rule is outdated, mathematically flawed, and quietly making you poorer every single year? If you care about building real financial security, not just feeling safe, hit like, subscribe, and let's break this down. First, some context. The 6-month emergency fund rule didn't come from science. It came from the 1980s and 1990s. Back when savings accounts paid 5 to 7%, inflation averaged 2 to 3%. Job tenure was longer, health insurance actually covered things. In other words, cash worked back then. But today, inflation averages 3 to 4% long term, with spikes way higher. Most savings accounts still lag inflation, and money sitting still is money losing power. That rule never evolved, and that's the problem. Let's make this painfully clear. Say your monthly expenses are $3,000. 6 months is $18,000. That money sits in a savings account earning 4%. Sounds decent, but inflation averages around 3.5%. After taxes, your real return is basically zero or negative. Now stretch that over 10 years. You don't just lose interest, you lose opportunity. That $18,000 invested at a conservative 7% is $35,000 in a decade. That's not a typo. So the real cost of the emergency fund isn't what you see, it's what you miss. Here's the part no one likes to admit. Emergency funds feel good. They feel safe. They give you control. But comfort is expensive, and comfort often disguises fear-based decisions. You might be thinking, but Hunter, I need peace of mind. Totally fair. But let me ask you this. Is peace of mind worth permanently lowering your financial ceiling? Because that's the trade-off. Most people build emergency funds for 3 fears: job loss, medical emergencies, unexpected expenses. But here's what the data says. The average unemployment spell is about 3 to 4 months. Most emergencies are under $2,000. Medical bills are often paid over time, not instantly. So why are we locking away 6 months of life? And here's the kicker. If you have marketable skills, a credit line, insurance, and investments you can liquidate, your actual risk is lower than you think. Let me tell you about 2 people. Person A has $20,000 in an emergency fund and nothing invested beyond retirement. Person B has $5,000 in an emergency fund and $15,000 invested. 10 years later, person B isn't just wealthier, they're more secure. Why? Because wealth creates options, and options beat cash every time. So what should you do instead? Here's the modern approach. Shrink the emergency fund to 1 to 3 months of true necessities, not lifestyle, not comfort spending. Stack defenses: health insurance, disability insurance, a flexible credit card, a brokerage account. Then put idle money to work: index funds, treasury bills, money market funds, assets that at least fight inflation. This isn't reckless, it's strategic. It's acknowledging reality. Here's the truth no one says out loud. The goal isn't to avoid risk. The goal is to price risk correctly. An oversized emergency fund feels responsible, but responsibility without math is just tradition. And tradition doesn't pay your future bills. So the question isn't, do I have enough saved? The real question is my money actually working for me, or just sitting there pretending to keep me safe? Think about that. If this changed how you see your emergency fund, hit like, subscribe, and share this with someone who's still stuck following outdated money rules. I'm Hunter, and I'll see you in the next one.